Three, two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back again today. I thought I'd stream today because it's just everything's just been so wild with this story. Why did I open that up? So yeah, we're going to carry on from where we were. Let's just hop into it. For that is watching you in a quiet contemplation. Gwendolyn, listen to me. Our duty now is not to denounce Hermes for his misguided determination, or to convince Emmett Selch and Etheladeus that they have been deceived. No, we must instead ensure that the experiences Hermes sought to expunge are preserved. What remains in our memories alone will be our weapon against the final days. You must fight this battle in your age and in mine. And I in mine. Come, let us walk together once more. I will see you to the doors of Proclea. We'll go all the way back. The time in this age is drawing to an end. Upon speaking to Vanette, several cutscenes will play in sequence. I'm glad I didn't do this last night. I would have been fucked. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. Are we ready? I mean, we can come back here at some point anyway, but I'm ready. We'll see whether you're ready.
So, it is within. The portal that brought you hither, and will take you home. May you and yours emerge triumphant. Make use of the knowledge you have gained, that your days in Elpis and our friend's sacrifice be not in vain. With Meteion free to pursue her designs, 'tis only a matter of time until the final days are upon us. We must be ready. From fortifying our defenses to securing our escape, there is much to be done. In spite of this, we cannot allow the report that set this calamity in motion to become common knowledge. Were the masses to learn the fates of the other stars, I fear the situation would spiral out of our control. I must carefully consider who can be trusted, and bring them into the fold. Ordinarily, I wouldn't hesitate to call upon the 14. However, it was the desire for a fair determination that drove Hermes to attempt to erase our memories. And were he made aware of his actions, there is no telling whether he would remain a friend or become a foe. Alternately, we might try to alienate him from the Convocation. Yet in doing so, we would deprive ourselves of a brilliant mind who would be invaluable in the crises to come. Quite the dilemma. Which is why I must work independently of the Convocation. Regardless of how we proceed, if we are to permanently avert the final days, we must be equal to Hermes' challenge. We must prove that mankind is worthy to exist. And this hinges, I think, on how we confront the all-consuming despair that accompanies a senseless and seemingly inevitable end. Bewildered and divided, we would perish like the peoples of those celestial ruins. We could not hope to survive the final days, much less take the battle to Meteion at her nest. We must find a way to defeat despair, to unite and prepare as many as possible for the struggle ahead. Heavy will weigh the burden of guiding this legion of souls. Yet I have faith in mankind's potential. As long as he believes in himself, there is naught he cannot achieve. So I will not give up on him. On us. You may find your world to be very different. Or perhaps the erasure of our friends' memories has sown the seeds of a conjunction between us. We cannot know until the moment is at hand. So shall I strive to do my best, taking naught for granted as I walk my path. And I pray you walk with me to the end. As you move forward, so too will I, as will all, resolved to fight for the morrow. And when mankind has found the strength to stand against despair, we shall silence the song of oblivion. She who sings it will learn our journey is far from over. This I promise. Fare you well, my light of the future, till we meet again.
From this day forth, I shall strive to bring honor to the seat of Vandani.
Even now, I remember standing there, locked in a moment where the sky is aflame. Where stars fall as tears, and screams darken the seas. Where resignation rots the trees. Where terror twists magics into abominations. Such is the lament of they who have gone before. The song of they who tried and failed to create a better world. The song of the end. That which hides at the edge of the universe is no longer Hope's creation. It is hopelessness incarnate. That day, mankind saw half of its number sacrificed to bring forth Zodiark. And covering the star in a shroud of ether, we forestalled the final days. Yet the cries echoed still. We wept for innocence lost, wailed for death inevitable. A reality too terrible to bear. And for too many who sought comfort in gilded memories of joyful days and tranquil nights.
This is all wrong! Why must we suffer so?
It needn't be like this. No. There must be a way to restore things to the way they were. To reclaim the perfect paradise we once had.
No, my friends. Suffering exists, and we cannot pretend otherwise. No civilization, however great, could eliminate it. If we would live, we must accept it as our constant companion. Let us not seek to forget this tragedy. Let us carry it in our hearts, that we may grow stronger and know true happiness.
We can't accept it! We won't accept it! It will be ours again! A world free of sorrow!
No, it will not. For there has ever been sorrow. Mankind was but spared its biting sting for a time. So please, open your eyes. To try and reclaim those lives we lost by sacrificing yet more isn't wisdom. It is weakness. No paradise is without its shadows. If we cannot accept this truth and learn from our pain, then our plight shall be repeated.
O mighty Zodiark! God, born of our boundless faith, we bid you, hear our prayer. Accept this offering of lives, and deliver unto us the lives we once had. Deliver unto us the days of old. The days when the star was a font of love, and we knew naught but bliss.
You would destroy it? Our beautiful world?
Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature, silent yet strong. And amidst it all, a people. Beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before. They are my meaning and my purpose. My love. In spite of, or perhaps because of this, I choose to believe in mankind's potential. In his ability to find a way forward. So let there be no way back. From that temptation, I sunder us. No more shall man have wings to bear him to paradise. Henceforth, he shall walk. All is excruciating pain. I breathe fire and torment. I birth a world of suffering, to mire and plague. In one fleeting moment, lives come and go, ever moving towards the unknown. And in that fleeting moment, they cry for the answer to the question. Why, given life, are they meant to suffer, to die? As fragmented, imperfect beings, yours is a never-ending quest. A quest to find your purpose, knowing your end is assured. To find the strength to continue when all strength has left you. To find joy, even as darkness descends. And amidst deepest despair, light everlasting. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
Well, that was an interesting one. First seems okay. That's good. Gwendolyn, impeccable timing as always. I'd heard you were off into the first as part of our efforts to investigate the final days. Well, as so often seems to be the case, while you were away we've had some few developments, which we can discuss in just a moment. For now, however, I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to have you back. As the heavens burn. Oh, that's an Ishgard. Snowy. We're going to Ishgard. So we know how it all began now. So have you learned more of the final days? Then the journey was well worth the risk. No doubt your newfound knowledge will be great boon to us all. Unfortunately, during your time on the first, events here have taken a turn for the worse. The Scions are running themselves ragged trying to contain the spread of blasphemy, but it's a losing battle. To try and ascertain where and why of it, Alizé and Avenel have been travelling all over. Of all the origins they've visited, Locus Amonis is one of the worst affected. Thancred, Estinian and Graha took a detachment of allied soldiers. There was often aid to succeed in need. But the province is vast. They only managed to visit a handful of coastal villages. It was an accomplishment worth celebrating still, but a drop in the bucket at best. In the meantime, Y'shtola and Master Matoya have been making a concerted effort to establish contact with Hydaelyn and Ethereal Sea, but to no avail. As for Tartarul and I, have been keeping a close eye. From what we gather, they've been constructing a vessel to ferry people to the moon. Ambitious project that has likely been years, if not decades, in the making. However, since we've seen no sign of it thus far, I suspect it's still incomplete. You will also recall the proposal issued by Master Fulcino to the people of Razak Khan. Following their discussion, Vitra declared his support for the plan and urged those who wished to evacuate to accept the forum's invitation. So far so good, but that's where things get a little strange. Apparently the forum caught wind of the lunar teleporter in the Tower of Babel and decided to use it to deliver people to the moon instead of their mysterious ship. Therefore, to secure safe passage for the Harnish refugees to the tower, Othino, Alize, Elistinian and Graha travelled to Garlemald not long ago. The trouble is, the capital was hardly the safest place to begin with, and now the former days have come to Garlemald. Fuck! Yeah, okay, not Ishgard then. Shortly after our friends arrived, they were sent to rendezvous with Master Fortuno. Then panic broke out, and our communications was severed. From what fragments we were able to make out before the link shell went completely silent, we can only assume the phenomenon has spread to the capital. It was one of the places... I mean, the thing is, right? Garlemald had such a few population. No, it always starts in the places that it was weakest. So Razat Heart, but jumping to Garlemald doesn't surprise me. The others need you, Gwendolyn. Please, you must help them. Let's fucking go. Let's have it. I'm all in. Let's do some fetch quests and shit. Having you there will make all the difference. I'm sure of it. Camp Broken Glass was their first port of call, so you'd best start there. Hopefully, Lucia will know that something like that. There's no telling what you've been walking into, so you had best every possible precaution. Go, 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 go. What's this? Oh, this is just... Oh, Garlemald is just there. Oh, is this Garlemald? Very small. Well, things are ramping up, aren't they? Oh. Gwendolyn, and not a moment too soon. The skies over Garlemald are ablaze, but it's an event on the ground that concerns me. As you will be... Oh, yeah, shit, I didn't notice that when I walked in here. As you will have heard, your fellow Scions have arrived ahead of you. We cut the customary greetings short after we received word from our troops that Magna Glacius, that the Forum's airship had landed. It was then the heavens began to burn. I dispatched your friends at once to ensure the refugees come to no harm. I would have you join them immediately. Additional support is en route, but we will discuss them later. I trust you are ready to depart. Upon departing for the Magna Glacier, several cutscenes were playing sequences. Recommended that you set aside official time. In addition, we're required to pass it to... Yeah, okay. Right, let's go, 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 go.
No. 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 We were promised an escape. Not the same room we fled.
I shall not meet my final days here in this blasted waste. Calm yourselves. Your panic is our greatest enemy. Come, we must build a line of defense. How?
Leave the fighting to us, Father. You must lead the people to safety.
I can handle this pair. You?
Shall tend to the refugees. Let us be about it.
As you wish, my little lord.
Oh, shit. I'm playing this out
I'll command the beast's attention. See to the wounded.
Help is at hand.
Leave it to me.
Those who can stand, come with me.
Easy now. Deep breaths. You're safe now.
Worry not for the refugees, but for yourself, boy.
enough!
That wasn't too bad.
Help! Someone, please!
What?
No. Don't. I don't want to die.
Forward! Let not a single fiend escape!
Yes! Bloody have at it. Have 'em.
Wait, that's... Euless and the army. So, you've recovered then? In time enough to be of aid, for once. We can speak of it more later. For now, we must fight! To repay your salvation in kind, or with better! For Garlemald has her pride! Of that I've no doubt.
Good gods. Of all possible saviors, the Imperial Army. Oh!
I had hoped to take all of them down at once.
Think a withdrawal might be in order?
Oh, sod that. You know who would never abandon these people to their fate. To be devoured by their former friends. That'd be beyond cruel. These beasts must fall here and now.
Well then, I'd say it's high time we threw caution to the winds.
So long as you spare me the heroic sacrifices. Now, let's go!
Oh, I can play as Alizé. Good.
Not today.
I'm not done yet.
Nothing to worry about. The air crackles with energy. Find cover!
As they say, turnabout's fair play. On guard!
There's not the barest trace of ether. Maybe there really is no way to bring them back.
Thank you for saving our lives once again. I remember you, from Purusha. You helped us there too, didn't you?
Ah, you're from Palaka's stand. I'm glad you're still in one piece. Or you will be, once I see to that injury of yours.
Look out! Get out of here! Quickly! I won't lose them. Not a one. This will be a brighter future. I won't let a madman's apocalypse ruin everything we've fought to achieve!
Get it together, Alize. You're embarrassing yourself. And in front of Father, no less. You might never measure up to our champion. We ask too much of him as it is. You mustn't let Eorzea's hero fight alone. Oh.
This is why you should never skip your squad regime. Never skip leg day.
I can look after myself, you know.
Everything's in order, I trust?
I've had enough of this rabble! Come on!
It's not quite Alphino there, like in the trailer, but it'll do. Right, let's have it.
Oh, a trio for the ages.
Oh, Ali, Rahat's in place.
Just the beginning.
I had a feeling I'd find you here. This should be the last of the worst troublemakers. With me!
On your feet.
Leave the healing to me. I'm in your debt.
Where were we? You must board without delay. The ship will depart ere long.
Your offer to host us in Sharlayan is most appreciated. But will the final days not soon fall upon it as well?
Your hesitation is not unwarranted. The satrap entrusted me with your lives, yet I have failed your comrades. Nor are you wrong to fear that this corruption will continue to spread. I cannot promise you complete safety, even in my homeland. What I can promise is that I will do all in my power to protect you. That power is not inconsiderable. Even now, my countrymen are preparing the vessel that will deliver us to a sanctuary on the moon. Join us on our journey there, and beyond, to new horizons. Come to old Sharlayan. Please.
We would be fools to refuse such a generous offer made in earnest.
It seems they've a new destination.
The people of Radzat Han have known too much suffering. The march to Garlemald will only bring them more, short though it may be.
I quite agree. Fortunately, they have you to look after them.
Yes. Well.
Behind you! Just there!
More of them.
Xenos! Here! You'll be all right. Hurry to the airship. Why have you come?
A heretofore unseen beast. 'Twas ripe for the slaying. Poor sport, alas. Unfit to temper my blade.
Oh, for the love of... You cannot still be on about a rematch.
That is, and has ever been, my sole concern. You, on the other hand, are fixated on a different quarry. Your passion pales before mine, yet neither hate nor despair seem sufficient to recapture your misdirected bloodlust. So, I hone my blade, and I wait.
That's it. That's all you care about. Garlemald is in ruins. Our homeland, the nation you rule, is as good as gone. along with so many of its people. Not just soldiers like us, not only those who fought and killed for power and duty. Innocent civilians. Murdered by their own flesh and blood. Lost and confused as they breathed their last. While we who survived with our lives and minds intact were left to freeze to death. The Eorzeans tell me all this was your doing! You slaughtered your countrymen! You did! For what?
For nothing, in the end. So much wasted effort.
You bastard!
For your own sake, Eulus, you must control your anger. It will serve no one should it consume you and see you transformed.
Would you be happier had I a good reason?
What?
If my motives met with your approval, would you no longer resent the outcome? If so, then perhaps a beast's skin would suit you better. Duty, honor, morality. All constructs of convenience when put to proof. Surely the war taught you how easily power becomes the tool of the self-righteous.
Yeah. No, could I have a chocolate?
How the people's justice was merely a means to their ends? Yet you would ask me why. Ask any creature of this star and those above for answers, and they will tell you what suits their fancy. And they would be right to do so. What meaning there is to be found in the petty vicissitudes of your existence must be gleaned by you, and you alone. Should you seek it in battle in the fruitless pursuit of my demise, then come. Assume your rightful place as a notch on my blade.
You are a blight on the Garlean race, and there would be no more satisfying way to expunge it than by beating you to death. But I will not be party to another tragedy. I refuse to lose anyone else because of you. So go. Go! And may we never suffer your madness again!
Xenos! Perhaps you found meaning in living this way. I cannot deny you found strength. Yet if you only pursue your hedonistic pleasures and pay no heed to the plight of others, then no one will give you the time of day. You will never get what you want, not even the battle you pine for so dearly. You'll be alone for an eternity, and you'll deserve every agonizing second of it.
We're ready to depart. The refugee ships will be leaving shortly, but I've asked mine to remain for the time being. There's room enough for you to join me on it, if you wish. Do contain your surprise. I needn't agree with the Scion's methods or intentions to acknowledge that their deeds are deserving of gratitude.
We appreciate the offer. But might I ask why you are delaying your departure? I presume it is not solely for our benefit.
I must visit Garlemald ere we return to Sharlayan. Having caused such an uproar, it is only meet that I explain myself to the Ilsabard contingent.
Allow us to accompany you then. We should be glad to facilitate, given our familiarity with all concerned. If you would like to join as well, Eulus, we can speak of recent events on the way.
He'll be after your seat on the Forum next.
Surprised that tower's standing. She's, standing there so uncaring and unrepentant. Gods, I don't know what came over me. I just blurted out the first thing that came to mind, but looking back on it, I stand by those words. I would say I hope they won't incite him to further villainy, but to be honest, I doubt he even remembers what I said. Anyway, enough about all that. Alright, it's good to see you again. When we hit level 90, I think what we'll do is we'll go off and do all of those quests that I need to do. Get that all the way up to date. Once those are done, then we'll continue on with the MSQ.
No major injuries then. Good. I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives. Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I'm addressing Lucia Junius. I'm the Forum's envoy, Fortuno Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much. You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere.
beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time. In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were I expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions. Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuneau. You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Sharlayan alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn, and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us?
I swear.
Right guys, I'll be back in a sec. When this thing is...
Any other I would doubt, but you I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it.
Right. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I just need to go grab my hot chocolate. And I am back.
Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
It does. You have my thanks.
Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait.
Did you hear something just now?
Oh shit.
Where is this star's blasted pudding?
But fucking not funny.
Dawn may banish even the darkest night, and to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort. 'Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to expound upon our purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Etheris. Oriange made it sound absolutely marvelous. More so before the impending doom, but still. And it's not like there would ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Marvelous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Oriange's inferior works no more.
Hey! Maybe consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom? Ahem. As I was saying, should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Hydaelyn's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it? Aye, not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Oriange made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
Forgive me, but are they...
Thy distant collaborators, indeed.
Hail, fellow. Well met. You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Hydaelyn's right paw. That last bit is very important. As am I, if I may humbly say so myself.
I, bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Charlian, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loperids made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart. For a time, at least. Nevertheless, 'twas worth the journey to find present company well. Will thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
Is she still wandering
If that's
around
all
in the
quite
background?
settled, can we start moving before Urianger catches his death? Even I'm freezing out here.
Oh, I dare say you'll warm up quickly once you're aboard the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
Well, we're in Charlotte. I dare say Master Fortuno was as pleased as we to learn the identity of Heidelin's lunar custodians. As he will soon discover, they have much and more to offer the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? We may have time to discuss the recent adventures here. We must. I wanna go. Oh, what's this? Babath Ironheart. I don't care. What is this quest? Oh. Oh, okay. Well, that was easy. Now, because I'm lazy, we're going to do a hop, a skip, and a jump. Because I'm not. Because I'm also lazy. That's the bad finally talk to them all about what's going on. Not that I'm complaining, Urianger, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Atheres, I did it inadvertently awaken in the Loperids a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Cryle tells you have obtained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I've news to share regarding our study of the Ethereal Sea, but your findings are certain to be of greater interest, so I would rather hear them first. To what revelation did Hyland's Elipis flower lead? then this dynamis is what drives the final days. If it and Akasha are one and the same, this all but proves Nidhana's theory. We're an eternity through sheer force of emotion to channel this vast, dormant reservoir into a raging river. Its power might surpass even that of ether. But if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of the great expanse. Meteor, or rather the sorrow and suffering of fallen civilizations that she has been hoarding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose, the destruction of Ares. Then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim, to defeat Meteor. You make it so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Meteor and we deliver the world from the final days, but to even attempt it, there are two conditions. First, we must detain her location. Before Meteor escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Vinay, the woman who would become Hydaelyn. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Hydaelyn and the Vinay you met in Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Hydaelyn possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee Atheres, not to stay. Do you suppose she abandoned her pursuit of Meteor? That's my impression too, otherwise she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will, provided clues such as for the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. So what's the second condition? We must find means to reach Meteor. We're going to use the moon. Or we're going to use the ship. One of two things. We're either going to use the moon, or we're going to use the ship that the Charleans have built. That's what we'll do. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely upon wheresoever she has made her nest. Then communing with Hydaelyn must be necessity come first. Did you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation into the Ethereal Sea? Certainly not. Though we enlisted the help of Arenvold and other Echo-blessed allies, we couldn't detect so much as a whisper from Hydaelyn, even from within the Anti-Tower. Master Matoya is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Hydaelyn. If so, it would most likely be some form of apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea built closer to home. Sorry to interrupt, we've just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required in Rustra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. Then Father was able to persuade them. They're finally taking us seriously. Let's hear what they have to say. Good, it's about bloody time. You know, you what? You stop a calamity. You stop the Dragon Song War. We ended up freeing most of the world from Imperial rule. Then we went to the First to stop the Sundering. How much more do they bloody want? And now we're trying to... We stopped Fandaniel. Well, I say we stopped Fandaniel. We stopped him somewhat. We stopped Fandaniel, and now we're trying to stop the final days because we got to stop Meteor. There's someone to send the door. Very well, you may wait in the corridor. Of course. course, entry will be permitted only to the condition you leave your armaments at the door, lest you forget that this sacred institution holds rational discourse on the highest. The influence of war expressively forbidden. So I'm possibly away ever since. Is this cutscene? I think it might be cutscene.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the Forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter. On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glaciers. We shall not soon forget your service to us, and the people of Radzat-Han. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharlayan has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat-Han was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This Ark, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on 2 conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the anti-tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms?
Oh, quite a few.
21 in favor, 28 against.
He didn't even
Ayes
need it.
have it.
He didn't even put his hand up. But okay.
For Chanot, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
Very well.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
That was good. Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was admittedly thinking of my feet for the most part. But since we required both the means of communication with Hudden and reaching Meteon, in the spur of the moment I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the Ark as a work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the Aether Burner. I'd like to think it is not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. It might behoove us to learn how an ether burner actually works before we attempt to... Get fucking Sid! Sid! Get Sid! I want Sid! 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 As instructed, I shall take you to see the afterburner. Meet me outside the Archeon. I trust you make your own way there. So the Ark is being built in Labyrinthos. Hardly surprising. Where else could they conceal such a massive undertaking? Oh, that's where that goes. Oh, I see. I didn't know. I probably could have just teleported down there, couldn't I? Would have saved me going all that way. Now, I need to go speak to the delivery mogul a second. Our destination lies in the lower levels. The Forum in its wisdom has granted you access to the Archeon's lift. Step aside. Have uploaded you to the vehicle. I've sent your associates head to Alpha on the other side of the mirror. Actually, there was something I've been meaning to... No, never mind. It can wait. Let us tend to the matter at hand. is around where we picked that flower, isn't it? It's like the shield walls in the Ancients. Big bee. We are to wait here while Father arranges for us to use the next lift. Here being alpha where the atmospheric conditions are regulated. Water is drawn from underground and dispersed as vapours, stimulating the formation of artificial clouds of rain. By manipulating the temperature and air circulation, they are able to create the ideal environment for the growth and preservation of the biological samples kept here. Hold on, how do you know that? Why Father brought me here as a child? What? And left me behind? Actually, you're the one who left me behind when you went off somewhere with Grandfather. The night before, I'd been asking Father how clouds are made, so he decided to show me. It was fascinating. I peppered him with questions the entire time. It is all too easy to take for granted the many interweaving aspects of the natural world to grow inner to the blah 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 blah. But having gained an understanding of the complex mechanisms employed by the Lumberers in recreating a similar environment, I've come to it. Oh, for God's sake, the subterranean gardens are rentals for lunar prisons forged to contain the ancient Zodiac. Habits built for all mankind beneath the moon's surface, each unique, yet something or other. 'Tis no mere coincidence. Ever since Hyden unfolded to us the grim fate that awaits Aetheri's, every essential resource we could spare has been delivered to Labyrinthos in preparation for the Great Exodus, but that is not all. It is also a testing ground for the technologies that will allow us to settle on distant stars. Though the Lockprits have endeavoured to make the moon inhabitable, that is not our final destination. Mankind must learn to propagate life where there is none, to thrive where all is barren. Alas, time is not on our side. I have arranged for you all to enter this central circuit. Is that most of our preparation for the Exodus are carried out. Construction of the Ark among them. Though our plans have been made public, access remains highly restricted. You, however, will not be subject to said restrictions, and will have free reign and come and go as you please. Such was the will of the Forum, after all. We will prove ourselves worthy of their trust, your trust. Then let us proceed. by decree of the Forum, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn are permitted to enter the central circuit. Where's big ship? The Aether Burner is being constructed not far from here. I'm seeing the workers Kokoro Dan Kokol, after whom the forge is named. Once the necessary instructions have been made, I shall leave you with him to discuss the particulars this way. I wish we didn't have to go all this bloody way. It just feels like unnecessary. Yeah.
Could swap them out. No, been there, done that. Damn near lost my eyebrows.
Think, Coco, think! We'd be well on our way to paradise. Visionaries patting themselves on the backs for their grand accomplishments if you'd only think!
Yes, that does sound rather lovely.
Yeah! I mean, Master Force, you know, what a pleasant surprise. We're not blasting off already, are we?
The schedule remains unchanged, for better or worse. Which is why the Forum has elected to accept assistance in resolving the Aether Burner conundrum.
Huh. Not seen you lot down here before.
There are Archons among their number, but engineering is not their expertise. Nevertheless, the Forum concedes the slim possibility that they may have insights to offer. If not, you are at liberty to return them to the surface, by whatever means you see fit.
I assure you that won't be necessary. Now, about your troubles with the Aether Burner.
Aye, I'll walk you through it. Suppose I could do with a change of pace. As the name ought to tell you, the Aether Burner burns ether, ambient or otherwise, and transforms it into motive force. Think of it like a giant bomb that never stops exploding. Even out in that black void where the ether's right sparse, it's strong enough to move our arc. And it probably won't kill you like an actual bomb. But it ain't perfect. According to my calculations, to travel to the moon and back fast enough for the Forum's liking, the conversion rate needs to be 6% more efficient. A measly 6%, you say? But if I could have squeezed even another 0.6 out of it, don't you think I'd have built it that way in the first place?
Hast thou consulted with the Loperites?
Yes, they too are conducting their own research, for lack of a ready answer. The moon's propulsion systems are considerable, naturally, yet they are commensurately massive. It is no easy feat to convert their technology into an efficient means of propulsion for a teeny tiny toy boat, as they say, and as I most certainly do not.
Yes, exactly! Damn it all, I asked for refined adamantite and they send me uppity rabbits with inscrutable, ancient, incompatible technology! You're trying to drive me mad!
Do you speak of Allagan refined adamantite, perchance?
You know of it?
Only in the most general terms, I'm afraid. 'Twas an alloy of Allagan make, but the secrets of its production were closely guarded. As I recall, the record stated it was vital to Dalamud's construction and launch.
Aye, that's the stuff. No material more conductive far as I know. Slotting some ends like blowing up a dam and watching the river of Aoife come rushing through. Ain't a living soul that knows how to make it though. We were fortunate enough to salvage some for the Aoife burner, just a wee bit, mind, from a chunk of Dalamud that came hurtling into the Northern Empty during the calamity. With more, well, that extra 6% efficiency would be child's play. It's a crying shame that we've no other sources.
Surely the many shards of Dalamud scattered throughout Eorzea would suffice. Why not get the refined adamantite from them?
Oh, we tried, believe you me. But only a few specialised pieces would have had any in them to begin with. Drive calls from Ragnarok-class internment hulks. Those are the prize bits we really need. According to the Gleaners, getting to them means delving deep into the shards. And the defences are still very operational and very eager to blow them up. It's rough going in there, even for the cream. Not sure they'd make it out alive.
That may be for the best, though you doubtless find the task too dull for your liking.
There are multiple internment hulks in Eorzea alone, so handling this ourselves may not be the most efficient option. Rather, if we could salvage adamantite from the shards simultaneously... Thancred, is the link shell we established before you went to Garlemald still active?
Of course. The floor is yours.
What's all this? Gathering firewood, so to speak. We alone can accomplish little, but joined by others, we may yet build a bonfire to carry us heavensward. This is Alphino. The Scions have need of you.
Understood. I will contact the Lord Commander and dispatch our finest at once.
My sisters are somewhat preoccupied with the final days, so I will lead the 12-Wood expedition myself.
Are you aware of any other sources of refined adamantite?
Logically, such an invaluable alloy would have been utilized solely where absolutely necessary, in components intended to conduct or collect surpassing amounts of ether. Any extant instrumentation or devices would have likely found their way into the hands of etherologists, or enthusiasts.
Magical artifacts of Allagan design? The Eastern Alliance will send word to one and all. Are there other ways we may offer aid? No shards of the Lesser Moon scar our soil, but our stake in this cause is no less for it.
Is there anything in Othard that might be of use to you?
What did you say? Oh, you got friends in far places, lad. Any road, if you're offering, I wouldn't say no to one of those Far Eastern sacred relics. Some of them can hold enough ether to summon a whole damn primal. Combine a source like that with the ether burner, and free,
2, 1, kaboom!
I gather you heard his explosive enthusiasm. Might you secure us a suitable relic?
It shall be done. I know little of machines, but I promise we will do our utmost to gather the materials you need to finish your starship. I am glad for the work, in truth. Better to busy oneself than wait and fret over disasters foretold.
Then why are we all still standing about yapping? There's plunder for the taking, and I'm a born plunderer. I'll be an old Charlian before you know it. Start mixing the grog.
I'm certain that can be arranged. Thank you all, and do be careful.
Just like that.
Aye, just like that. Our refined adamantite is on its way. Now let us consider our next steps, shall we? There's yet much to be done.
It's time like these we remind how famous or infamous Halfano has become. Who'd have thought he could achieve so much with a single link pearl conversation, as we're expecting rather a lot of visitors in the near future. I'd best be shown to the surface of the party. I've contacts of my own that might be worth a try. Oh, and who might that be? That's for me to know and you to find out. And on that note, I leave matters here in your capable hands. Best of luck. I bet it's Sid. It's gonna be Sid. No, it's gonna be Sid. Sid. Oh. Meanwhile, Eludar. Oh no! No!
Our course of action is clear. We must harvest refined adamantite from the shards of Dalamud and procure arcane relics of Allagan make. Summon the best and brightest of our immortal flames and form an expeditionary party at once. Call upon the Sultan Sworn and Brass Blades for support as you must. Papashan, send word to the guilds. We will require the expertise of master artisans if we are to have any hope of identifying and recovering these elusive materials. Thiergeist, we have need of your stone torches. They are to assist the immortal flames in scouring the ruins and to help secure the surrounding areas. I trust I can count on your support.
As commander of the stone torches, my son Zimberk will personally see it done.
Pippin, I would have you lead the raiding party. Assemble your finest, and with Tizona's blade clear the way. Lord Lolorito, I pray you take charge of the search for Allagan relics. Surely you know of some being traded on open or clandestine markets, or sleeping in collectors' vaults. Of course, I ask not that you do this out of the kindness of your heart. By all means, profit on the transactions. I wish you the joy of it. The final days descend upon our world. If circumstances are truly as dire as they say, Uldar's best efforts may be for naught. And yet, when we Eorzeans rose from the ashes to rebuild our broken realm, did we not learn one simple truth? That
That which seems all but impossible to overcome alone may yet be possible if we stand together. It was the Scions who united us then, and it is the Scions who call upon us now. Uldar will answer that call. We will summon our courage and join the fight for our world's future. You know your duties. I, Nanamo Ulnamo, 17th in the line of Ul, bid you good luck and Godspeed.
We fielded a goodly number, but our ranks are heavy with healers, and an abundance of restorative magics will be of little help in destroying Dalamud's defenses. Still, it has ever been thus with Gridania. We must steel ourselves for a protracted engagement.
In that case, might I suggest taking us along?
Commander Hext, what are you doing here?
None of the shards in Girabania are big enough to hold an internment hulk. So we said to ourselves, why not lend our neighbors a hand? We thought you might be short on people with a talent for breaking things.
While it pains me to admit it, you are right. Are our deficiencies so plain to see?
It might have been a lifetime ago, but I was once one of the Scions assigned to the Shroud. I know this forest well. I know your people. And I know we will be stronger if we fight this fight together.
Then I will impose upon you with a clear conscience. Come. Let us speak of how to integrate our forces.
I won't let it all be for nothing. I promise you, Papalimo.
There you are! We've no time to waste, brother. Everyone has already... Ah. That was a roar! A dragon's roar!
And so, in summation, the Eastern Alliance, as well as the Honorable Lord Lolorito himself, reached out to me for assistance in procuring these treasures of the divine, and I, in turn, do beseech the Confederacy for aid.
Oh!
Hmm? Is that...
Hancock? What a surprise this is. And a fortuitous one at that. I have a favor to ask, you see.
Voice actor. Though our friends are searching for refined adamantite and sacred relics, we will only know if they meet your requirements once they have arrived. In the meantime, is there anything else to do best of service? You've already done more than enough. If I had to say though, I could use some who knows a thing or two about elegant technology. You there, the lad with the red eyes and matching hair. You seem to know more than the average scholar. See, Dilla! That if only Master Papa knew how right he was. While he and Grahan established a path, why don't we help the preparation for the Great Exodus? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond the terms of our arrangements, but I suppose this is not purely for favour. As confident as I am we will succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. This would also be an opportunity to familiarise ourselves with the logistics of traversing the Great Expanse, and if nothing else, it blasts twiddling our thumbs. It beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantite. Well, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If you'd mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. Charlie and Hamlet is lousy with researchers and scholarly types, busy in themselves preparing for the Exodus. That lot need all the help they can get. Well then, off we go. We'll go back this way. Oh, I'll just switch that on. No job too small. From what I can tell, a lot of the people actually live down here. I don't know how much help we can offer, but I dare say they'll benefit from some of the precious scar you mentioned. Let's start by asking around without getting in anyone's way. Let's meet by the Aetherote once our work is done. Happening with the Ark, even with all the power Master managed to squeeze out the afterburner, it's still not enough apparently, and now I hear tornadoes arrive, horrible creatures running rampant all over. If only we'd begun the Exodus sooner. people are dying and there'll be no end to it. We don't fulfill our duty, but we will. We spent years preparing for this moment, believing the plan, and all will be well. Silicon Grin. Oh, hello. Are you one of the new helpers? Working on the afterburner. Oh dear, I hear things have come to a standstill on the front. Even so, I choose that over my current duties, checking and loading samples day in, day out. It's tiring, thankless work. Still, no one will be cross if I misplace a few legumes of what have you. The forum's got enough of their plate as it is. What with deciding against the body away. A lot of powerful people have opinions about that. My heart goes out to the Master Fortuner and the others. Hardly get moments rest, I expect. Do they even have time to sleep? Offering to help, that's very kind. We should be able to organise the rest of the documents by myself, especially the list of things we'll need once we arrive at the barrier. Whichever style we choose our new home, my duties largely concern in maintenance of living conditions, so it will be a lot busier after we depart. I hear that our lunar collaborators have come down to assist in our efforts. I'm looking forward to finally meeting them in person after having communicated with them in such limited capacity thus far. To be perfectly honest, I've not even the slightest idea what they look like. I do hope they're not enormous looming giants. Why I would much prefer something smaller and fluffy like that big-hatted rabbit that ran by. Living way. Fancy meeting you here, Gwendolyn. Our friends of the forum brought us to see their tiny toy boat, which was quite impressive considering they didn't use any creation magics. What we're really interested in is Etheres itself, though. We now find ourselves in a sort of funny underground miniaturized version of it. We're hoping the forum will give us a guided tour, but it appears they're rather preoccupied, honestly, all that time to prepare and they're still not ready. I suppose we'll just have to show ourselves around, or at least that's what we were planning to do until we chanced upon Oriange and your good self. Since you're both dawdling about engaging in idle chit-chat, perhaps you could show us a few points of interest, won't that be fun? Tries he might, Andrea cannot free himself on the labyrinths. Our tour of Labyrinthos. An unexpected yet prudent suggestion. Given the similarity betwixt this artificial environment and Best Ways burrow, it would be in our best interest to have the Lockwood's acquainted themselves with both conditions deemed optional by their Charlian collaborators. I fear, however, that continued reliance upon my limited knowledge would risk narrowing rather than broadening their perspectives. Mayhap thou art better suited to learn this venture. Well, marvellous idea, what we would do? Might be bigger than marvellous, great big. What's it over there, yonder? Oh yes, the what's it. I shall leave explanation to Gwendolyn. Fuck you. Right, guys. I'm actually gonna call it quits. I think we'll call it quits. We're going for 2 hours and and I got to get prepped for tomorrow because I got work early in the morning, and I've got to somehow get myself to sleep. So yeah. It's been fun. We learned quite a bit. It's been interesting, nearly hitting level 89. But I think that'll do for us today. So, thanks again for coming to the stream. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. And I hope to see you all in the next stream, which won't be until Tuesday. I fundamentally can't actually do tomorrow because I have singing lesson, then I have to cook, and then it gets too late. And then I'm working Tuesday and Thursday this week, which usually would be my days off, so I don't get another day off until Sunday. But I will be streaming Tuesday evening, Wednesday evening, Thursday evening, Friday evening, and Saturday.